Greetings, YouTube. Today we're taking a look at Fantasmagoria, an atlas of fabulous creatures, enchanted beings, and magical monsters by Julia Bruce. And this is from 2009. So I'm just going to do I'm not going to do the table of contents. Then we have fairies and little people. So talking about the different myths that we have in the world about the little people. Fairies and pixies in more detail. The winged fairies. The elves. That's a picture of from Lord of the Rings. Brownies. The bogarts. And the somewhat dangerous fairies, goblins, because the goblins are technically part of the whole fairy vibe. Then we have gremlins, feared by all folks that have access to mechanical devices, as well as a picture of the gremlins from the movie. We have dwarves, the mythological dwarves, as opposed to the ones that you would have seen, say, in Lord of the Rings or in your classic high fantasy tabletop role-playing games or in video games. Then we have gnomes, and again, these are going to be more of the classical mythological gnomes. Then we have wonder worker. We're going to go into wonder witches and enchantresses, including Circe and the myth of Circe and Odysseus, and that is why I have a cat named Circe, because I named her after Circe from mythology. Witches on trial, and they weren't witches; they were just unfortunate people that got pulled into hysteria and conveniently lost their lands to people in power. How convenient. Wizards and magicians. Famous wizards, Merlin and King Arthur. Harry Potter, of course. Jinn, the fisherman and the genie. Spiritualists. It's kind of interesting. They can't use the word spirit. They cover spiritualists, which is kind of a 19th century kind of vibe going on there. But it actually bled over into the 20th century because it did. Harry Houdini was frequently debugging. The word I'm looking for is escaping me completely, but he liked to uncover fraud, let's put it that way. We have a section on shamans, which are from all across the world. There are all kinds of different shaman classes of religious leaders and oracles and aides in the spiritual world. We have evil spirits, demons, and the undead. Classic vampire, and there you have Nosferatu. I also recommend the William Dafoe film where he plays the Nosferatu. Quite entertaining. There's also Buffy the Vampire, Vampire Slayer. We have a section on mummies, zombies, and golems. Kind of interesting they put zombies and golems in the same place. I guess if you really, that does make some sense. That does make some sense. And they also include the Frankenstein's monster. Because remember, Frankenstein was the doctor. His creation was not named Frankenstein. Because he was technically a flesh golem. Then we have a section on ghosts. Deathly spirits. Demons. That's a classic illustration right there of a demon sitting next to a human. Humanoid creatures. We have werewolves. The broad term would be lycanthropes, and they were found from all over the world. Yeti and Sasquatch. Also Bigfoot, of course. Giants, including the classic Cyclops, and there's a Cyclops having a really bad day. There's somebody stab him in the eye with a log. Ogres and trolls, including Beauty and the Beast. Monstrous women, well, that's a little bit misogynistic. Including the story of Perseus and Medusa. Men of wood and the forests, nature spirits, the green man, things like that. Horned and hooved creatures. We have the unicorn. Pegasus. I guess he is hooved. Though we do tend to think of the Pegasus as being a flying horse as opposed to a hooved animal. I mean, horses are hooved, don't get me wrong, but yeah, we tend to think of the wings more than the hooves. The water horse, which I think is Irish originally. I don't know if the water horse had any bearing elsewhere in the world. The Minotaur, which is just an awesome concept, and for me, my Minotaurs will always have hooves. Centaurs, including Hercules, which the Greek would have been Hercules. Hercules is Roman. And Nicias. Satyrs, which are nature spirits. Then we have a section on dragons, because you can't have a book like this without a section on dragons. And there is the Welsh flag, which always makes me smile. I actually have a medallion of the Welsh flag kicking around somewhere because I just like their dragon. Chinese dragons, which are not winged. The Mongolian death worm, which is that there isn't a band out there called Mongolian Deathworm. There should be. Japanese dragons, also of the non-winged variety for the most part. Greek dragons, including the story of one of the tales of Hercules, and of course Jason and the Golden Fleece, because it was guarded by a dragon. Was that a dragon, or was that a hydra? I don't know. We have dragon slayers, because if you have dragons, you have to have dragon slayers. We have vampire cats, the vampire cats of Namashima. That's kind of cool. We have the griffin, which is an awesome creature. I love griffins. They're very cool. Then we have the classic sphinx. Amut, which is a creature from Greek, Egyptian mythology, and I don't know if I count that as a monster or not. And they've got Anubis in here, who's a god, so I question that as well. Kerberos, the classic dog that guard the gates of hell. Black dogs and death hounds. Black dogs are Irish. I don't know where death hounds are from. Then we have fabulous birds. The phoenix, of course, that the thunderbird from North America. The indigenous people. The roc, a bird so large it could feast upon elephants, could carry them in its claws. The simurg, which is a bird I had not heard of, I think, before this book itself. And we have feathered fiends, which is kind of cool. Then we have water creatures. That's good that they've given a full range of all the elementals. We have, of course, classic mermaids. Nixies and nymphs, which is kind of cool. More Greek, the lake lurkers, because there actually are lake monster myths in numerous places around the world. It isn't just Loch Ness. And more, of course, monsters of the deep, including real-world creatures of the depth, the giants, squid. And we have river monsters, and that is a really awesome head. That's a great illustration right there. Then we have a glossary. So this has been Fantasmagoria, a great little book, and I'll be passing this on to some thrilled child out there who's going to get this. They're going to be like, oh, this is so cool, because you know something? It is, in fact, so cool.